Hello everyone, and I welcome you all on behalf of Naukri Learning today. The live session for today is going to be the first of the two-part webinar series. That is how to make better career choices. Thank you all for joining us today. Making the right career choices is actually a really demanding task. And in today's session, we will help you to understand the basics of making career decisions, the importance of having a career mindset, and the secrets to making better career choices for yourself. This webinar is a result of the unique association of Naukri Learning and Conscious Career Choices. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speakers for today, Anita Sachdeva and Harsh Johari. They are certified leadership and career coaches with global experience. And Anita has more than 3 decades of work experience and is a certified PPC award winner, while Harsh is a four-time TEDx speaker and has more than 26 years of professional experience. So they have helped professionals transform their careers and roles across industries and geographies, and they want to share their learnings with us today. So before I start, let me remind you to all post your questions in the chat box, and we'll be having the Q&A at the end, and we will also try to address all your questions that you shared at the time of your registration process. Also, don't forget to visit the link of the course, which is in the description. So without further delay, let's get started, and over to you, Anita and Harsh.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday afternoon. It'll be our pleasure over these 2 weekends to share with you on how you can make better choices and then share with you a system by which you can go and do it on your own if possible. Not, we do have a program called Conscious Career Choices. It's developed in partnership with Naukri Learning. It's a free program that's offered in 5 modules, and we will be sharing the link shortly. In fact, probably Nahari could probably end up doing it now. So let's start. Life is all about choices. Truly, through our life, we make choices. We are constantly making important decisions, such as choosing which university to go, taking a specific course, or sticking to the same job for the rest of the career. With the information overload that we have today and an uncertain external environment, making informed career decisions can sometimes be a real daunting task. Sometimes it creates scarcity, like I don't have many choices. Alternatively, confusion, I have too many. I don't know which path to take. So, and why we have this? Because of the changing nature of careers. Everything is disruptive now. Let's examine what career really is. It'll give us an idea how of how you can make these choices and why sometimes they are so difficult at times. So here's a traditional idea for career, which are 3 components. It represents our expertise, our profession, and ultimately our identity. It identifies who we are, what we do. This form of self-identity makes changing careers dauntingly difficult. What if we switch careers and fail? Then who are we? A career is something that builds over time and endures. It gives us the opportunity to progress, advance, and continuously feel proud. When we are asked to change a career path or a career path, what happens to all we have learned? That's a question we ask ourselves. Do we throw it all away, or can we carry it forward? The third way of thinking, traditional way of thinking, is that career gives us a financial and psychological rewards. Yes, it does. It gives meaning, it gives purpose, and pays us to live well, which is fantastic. What happens if a career suddenly becomes less valuable? Even if we still enjoy it, should we continue to make less money or jump to a new path? All questions. And we will walk you through some solutions as we go along. But these are the questions we know everyone's been asking and are facing currently. Because the changing work has disrupted, all the 3 elements of expertise, duration, and rewards have changed. But as scary as this may be for the employees trying to stay ahead, it's equally disruptive for the employers who must try and hire and develop a workforce of today, tomorrow, and 5 years from now. Within this context, we need to stay vigilant and know and keep eyes open as to what's out there and what choices can I make for myself. That's the key. So over to you, Harsh.
Thanks, Anita. And again, a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us today. So look, there is a research which states that humans make as many as 35,000 decisions every day. What to eat, what to wear, when to get up, what to watch. We make so many decisions all throughout the day, consciously and unconsciously. And if you keep that number in mind, making a decision about a career can seem to a very, very daunting task, right? Because career choices are not our choices alone, right? It impacts all aspects of our life. And the way we make career decisions is driven a lot by our upbringing, our education, cultural norms, societal norms, peer pressure, what people are saying to us. All these go into our decision making when we think about a career. And in our experience, whenever we're talking to individuals and professionals in terms of how they make their career choices, typically 3 points have come to the front. First is the feeling of scarcity. People don't know what choices they actually have. You typically think about your career in a very singular, unidirectional way. So that's a very scarcity and limitation mindset in terms of what I can do, what I cannot do, what roles is possible, what is not possible. So typically your initial way of thinking is coming from a place of scarcity and limitation. So that's the first problem people have when they're thinking about career choices, because they feel that we don't have too many choices, but that's not the truth. The second thing which happens when you're thinking about career choices is that a lot of choices you make based on what others are doing, right? You look at your peers, you look at your family members, you look at people successful around you, and you think that I should copy and paste what they are doing. So my choices should be governed by what other people are doing, especially if these people are successful. So that is another thought which comes to people's mind. And the third thing which comes to people's mind is that sometimes you may be aware what choices you have to make, but you're not ready to take a decision because you're afraid of something. That fear could be fear of failure, that what happens if I am not able to succeed in the new role or the new industry. It could come from a place of self-doubt. Can I do it? Do I have the capabilities to do that? Or sometimes it could come from a place that I want to do it, but if something does not work, I don't want to be responsible for that. So you're not ready to stand up and take the accountability for that. So these are the three factors which typically come in people's mind, and we are going to explore these factors further in today's discussion so that you can think of how can I make better career choices. Now, even before you start the process of making career choices, what you need to develop is what we call is a career mindset. Now, what does a career mindset really mean? Career mindset really means that you are not looking at jobs. Job, most of you already have. You already are working somewhere or have worked in the past. Career is having a long-term view of your career and your life. You're consciously planning for it. You're consciously taking decisions which help you move in a direction towards a career which you truly deserve. You're taking charge of it. That is what the career mindset is all about. It is not about job hopping. It's about consciously planning and taking action to make things happen, to actually realize a career of your dreams, a career which you truly deserve. A career mindset also means that sometimes it could happen that you make choices which don't work in your favor. But how quickly can you rebound from that? How can you learn from that? A lot of people feel stuck in their jobs, but they really don't do anything about it. They complain a lot. Sometimes they play the victim card. Sometimes you blame the entire world for your problems, but that does not really help you. So developing a career mindset also means that you are taking charge of it, you are learning from any mistakes you've made, and you are ready to move on. So we will invite all of you to think about developing a career mindset when you're making future career choices. And that's why I think Anita mentioned earlier, we have this program which are available on Naukri platform. It's a free program which can help you develop a career mindset. So let's hear Anita's views on choices and also about scarcity.
Yes. So like, career mindset is what you consciously plan your career and don't let career happen to you. But as we mentioned earlier, there are common challenges that hold us back, limitations and comparison. So sometimes You don't know what choices you have. You may have a limited view of the world. You don't have a proper mentor. No one has ever guided you, and you've just done it on your own. You're very proud that you've done and managed on your own. But as I mentioned, the market conditions are pretty disruptive. So, what can you do to be engaged with this new world and make choices? So as I said, most of them are governed by what others are doing or you've achieved and not expanded your consciousness. So how do you do this? So one way is to have a compelling vision, which is yours. You're old enough to now create your own vision. Many times careers happen. You go to great job, suddenly out of college, or your parents want you to have a particular career. But today you have the choice to come from a place of possibilities and abundance. So what's a vision? And why a vision? Because a vision provides a foundation to work from and build on something that serves as a guide for exploration. It's a macro picture. It evolves and grows over time as interests change and new options you discover. It's a framework also for your life as you create, not just for your career, but how you see your life unfolding, and career is integral part of that life. That's one of the big mistakes we've made. We only think of the career and then everything just falls apart. The vision integrates everything. And that's when you find the choices which balance everything that's important to you. And it creates a consolidated understanding of who you are, yourself, your strengths, your talents, your patterns, themes. And it's a database and a platform to make decisions for a new career. Now, since our observation has been our clients who come to us and attend our masterclass, they have told us that, more often than not, we live a templated life. So when we proved further, what does that mean? They said we prefer the predictable life day to day, and therefore we did not even know that a career mindset was possible, what that looked like, and what a career vision could potentially be. And that is one of the frameworks to create better choices. So some of you may have absolute clarity on the other hand, and that's perfectly fine. So let's do a simple exercise which would help people who do have a vision and the ones who don't have a vision, who have limitations and who don't have limitations. This is something you can take away, make some notes if you can. I'm going to share you some questions to ask yourself. So what is the first thing we want in life is to say, when we want to start something new, you do a discovery. So what are you discovering? You ask yourself, what does discovery mean to me in my career? And then some answers will come to you. And you will know that the symptoms are you are engaged, energized, enjoying. And ask yourself, what am I doing? And when you ask yourself, what am I doing? You're beginning to discover what makes you happy, energized, which also can take you into the kind of job you want to do, even though you don't have the skills for it. So don't limit yourself. And I can give you an example. I was coaching somebody yesterday. She was an MBA, she's an engineer, and then on her own, she worked somewhere, she didn't like it. She became a UX designer. Now she's worked in UX designer. Now she says, I want to do product marketing. And she's kind of working towards it. Now, and she said, I always knew that if I was not engaged and enjoying, then I've got to do something else. And then I got to find out what is it that really passionate and moves me. That's discovery. The second is dream. If you could do what you do more often, consistently, what might be possible? So that means if I have to wake up in the morning and do something again and again, and it doesn't feel like work, as Socrates said, if you love what you do, you never worked a single day in your life. So if we can dream, and dreams are not confined to how much money I have, will my family be upset, will I have to transport myself? No, this is a brainstorm. You've taken a white piece of paper and started creating something for yourself. That's how you make better choices. It's a dreaming. What can I do consistently, day by day? Uh, how can you move from where you are to where you want to be? And it's the current gap. So if you are here today and where do you want to be? Sometimes we define it by a title. I want to be a manager. I want to be a team lead. But is that a design? Is that a dream? Is that a discovery? Perhaps not. More so, who will I be when I have that role? What will I be doing? Will I wake up in the morning and feel awesome that I am doing this work? Or think, oh my God, I wanted to be the manager. I wanted to lead a team of 100, but I find this is very, very stressful. I prefer to be an individual contributor. And the last one is destiny. So you can create your own destiny. So if there's one action you would take, what would you be willing to start? Sometimes even picking up that white sheet of flip chart paper and buying color pens is a start. So ask yourself, if I want to make better choices, what is the one action I can do today towards that? And if every day you ask, one action I can do, it could be reading an article, it could be watching a video, it could be talking to a mentor, connecting to somebody on LinkedIn to say, I want to explore this. May I have an information interview with you? And of course, you have coaches like us who can support you. So with ease of this question, you move away from a linear approach to a place of expansion and creating possibilities. And now that we have created the vision, there is one more step. It's about taking action to reality. Yes, you took the first action to start creating the vision. Now, let's say you created the vision. What would you do? And then you ask yourself the question, what would my best part of my next 3 years look like? What would be that? If I had to look back in my life and say, those 3 years were the best of my life, what would that look like? And think creatively, not I will have this kind of salary, this kind of a role, but open your life to possibilities to meet the market requirement, otherwise you become redundant. And so ask yourself, what can stand in your way of making better career choices? It's all up to you. By asking the right questions, you will get the right answers. And the fact is, we don't ask the right questions. So we have shared those with you. Take the opportunity and examine them in your life and your context. Over to you, Harsh.
Thanks, Anita. I think those were some very powerful questions you asked. I think creating a compelling career vision could be a very good starting point, something which excites you, something which you can look forward to, and then really putting an action plan to make it happen. Now, the key thing is, again, even when you're thinking about a vision or a dream, you have to think from a place of possibilities and not limitations. Your dreams are dreams. Dreams are unconditional. What happens a lot of times, we dream, but we are always dreaming with, can I achieve it or not? And hence we think less. But remember, dreams are all about creating possibilities. Whether you are able to achieve it ultimately or not, that's a very different question. But dreams have to be unconditional. Now, when people think about possibilities and career choices, there is one more problem people face. And that's, sometimes people think that the choice in career are very binary in nature. It is either this or that. And that's something we have come across a lot when we are coaching clients, that whenever they are thinking of career options, they're always saying, okay, tell me, what should I do? I should do this path or that path. That's a very binary way of thinking at career choices. But the fact is, if you really step back, there could be several career options you can create, which are not binary in nature, where you can actually do something, plus you can do something else. It's just that we never think on those lines. For example, a simple thing, some of you may want to start your own business, or you want to start your own consulting work. Now, one way to look at it is that I have to quit my full-time job and I have to become a full-time consultant. Yes, that's one approach. That's a very binary approach, either this or that. Or you can say, look, I need financial security. So I want to be in my full-time job, but I want to start my consulting practice. So what can I start doing to start that practice? Maybe I can consult over the weekend. I can consult in late evenings, or I can do some consulting work for some of my friends or relatives to begin that process, even understand what is consulting all about. Will I even like it or not? What sort of options are available? So I can start doing something in parallel and not necessarily think of this as a binary choice. I can actually do more than one thing and plan for it, so that's very important for us to consider. And in fact, I relate a recent example where I was coaching a client, and this was a senior professional. She was into yoga and she wanted to start her practice as a yoga practitioner, but she also realized that the place where she lives in, she did not think that this will generate enough money for her, so she was a bit scared, saying, should I do this or should I keep my own job? And because I need that financial income coming in. And I told her, why can't you do both? Why can't you actually start your yoga practice maybe in the early mornings or over the weekends and have your sort of day job as well? And she was taken aback. She said, I never actually thought about it. I was always thinking that I have to quit and do something else. And I said, no, it's not. You can actually do both. And at some point, if you feel that you are very engaged, you're very passionate, you have a big client list, you see money is coming, and at that point, you can decide to quit, right? So sometimes we are always thinking of career choices as binary, but they are not binary. So my invitation to all of you is that if at all you're thinking of more than one career options, think about how can I make more than one thing work for me. Now, obviously, that does not mean working full time for two different companies. That is not the point we're making. But a lot of times, you can do more than one thing to work towards a dream career eventually. So I want all of you to be open to the possibility that yes, I can have a job and I can also do something in parallel or start working towards that. Because only then when I can have something happen over a period of time. And the second point I'll add is that, look, even if you're thinking of multiple options, not everything need to happen at the same time. Sometimes you can do a preparatory work. Sometimes you can actually start it slowly, gradually, before it eventually builds into a full-time practice or full-time work, right? So sometimes we always think that, it has to happen immediately. No, when you're starting something new, your success, your reputation, your credibility will take time to build. It will not happen instantaneously. So just be aware of that. Yes, the option to do more than one thing in your career, the option to create a career is out there as long as you are opening yourself to that. Now, sometimes we feel that we again close ourselves to those options because we are coming from a place of fear. So, Anita, what do you have to say for that?
Yes, but before I get to that, I just wanted to share my personal experience. When you talked about doing two things at the same time, I was working in an organization and I decided I was a vice president, and that was in Toronto. And I wanted to move into human development, transformation, and coaching. So I had to go to back to University of Toronto. Now, how could I do both? So I talked to my company and I went part time with them. And I worked 3 days a week with them, and the rest of the days when I had to go to school, I went. I those days were available to me, and I had time on the weekends to work, to study. And I took on less workload. It kept me going, kept me afloat, and I realized that this is where I wanted to be. And after I'd finished, and then when I moved back to India after 25 years of working there, I had to start from ground zero. And I knew that it was not going to be easy, but I kept my different choices open when I came here. I continued to work there and I continued to work here. And I started something else here, which was very exciting that I found. But it was in the space that I can dream and I can be whoever I want to be. Allowed me to transition careers so easily somewhere in my 50s. So I'm sure you can do it too. And so, what was a common element that got me to where I am and at 50s to move back after 25 years to India was really having courage and not operating from a position of fear. And that I have talked to a lot of successful people globally, and that is one thing that stands out. When you're afraid, you make choices that make you feel comfortable and safe, which means you will say no to new opportunities. As fear comes in different forms: fear of failure, fear of taking accountability, fear of rejection, fear of somebody else's opinion, fear of feeling inadequate or appearing inadequate. So there are many fears. There's some which are real, some which are unfounded, and we got to find what they are. So let's say there's an opportunity to work on a new project, but you're not feeling confident, but you doubt yourself, that you don't have the skills, you may fail, and hence you won't proactively grab the opportunity. So just to share with you how fear stands in the way and how it can work for you. I was coaching this client. She's a corporate lawyer, and she wanted to do something else and become visible to her management globally. There was a diversity and inclusion practice that was offered to anyone to take it up, and she did. And she was not in HR. They were happy to give it to her. The management supported her. And a year later, she's built an internal team, works with the HR. The managing director knows her very well, and the stakeholders abroad know her. Now, if she hadn't taken that risk, and of course, I was coaching her because she said, I have a family. How can I do this work? And how can I take something new on? And they said, let's work it. And she took it on. And today, she's got another promotion because she's now visible. So she got out of her templated life that I've got to only be a lawyer, and took away the limitations. And as she realized that growth lies outside the comfort zone. And so to conclude, I feel that courage is not the absence of fear, but taking action despite the fear. And the more comfortable we are in a cage with our fears and taking them on, the more satisfying our life will be. But what's the solution? Get up and make choices of your life. And once you make powerful decision, despite the fear, you will start aligning actions for things to happen. It's amazing how the synchronicity of life works. You act, the universe works with you. People work with you. They're proud of you. They're inspired because you're doing something. So indecisiveness is the cause of failure. I'll do it tomorrow. I think it's a great idea. But you know what? I'm very busy now. 6 months later, 6 months later, something else comes up. 6 months later, life happens. So I'm going to ask you a question. Why would you fail? Just ask yourself, take a pause. Why would you fail? Do you even know that? In your vision board, I'll write this down. Why would I fail? And more often than not, you'll come up with very few answers because it's just a feeling, or you genuinely see some gaps, like a skill gap. And so, big deal. I went back to school, so do lots of people. Take it on. And if there's a gap, you can plan, right? So, which brings us to the end of the discussion. Let's recap what we discussed today. First, the importance of choices when it comes to career. Having the right career mindset. 3, thinking from a place of possibilities and not limitations. 4, creating a powerful career vision. 5, the power of and or or. And 6, overcoming fear when making career choices. So if you have any questions, please drop a message and Harsh will answer your questions shortly because I have to leave. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. And yes, do check our program out. It's developed in partnership with Naukri Learning. It's free. And reach out to us. We have our email also. So reach out to us if you have any questions. And good luck. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Anita. I know you have to go, so we'll be handling the questions. So before we begin Q&A, so we have some of the pre-submitted questions. We'll take them first. In fact, I see one live question from Sumit, so maybe I'll take that first. And then all of you have joined us. If you have any further questions related to career choices, career transition, career planning, you can type in the chat box and I'll try to take that. So I'm going to address Sumit Maheshwari's question first. So Sumit says, what is the right time to change or think of a career choice? And Sumit, this is something we in fact discussed, I think, in the last webinar, and you should see the recording in terms of the timing of career choices. So this is our view, right? One is there is no right or wrong time to make a career choice and change, and there is never a wrong time to do the right thing. That's the default position we have, right? The other thing we spoke in that webinar was, and this is something I'm going to repeat again, is see, a lot of people make a mistake that they are always thinking of changing career when their career is on the downhill, when things are not working for them. And in my opinion, that is not a good decision, because when things are not working, when your career is you're feeling stuck or stagnated, a lot of things are happening with you, right? When your motivation is low, your morale is low, your performance can get impacted. Sometimes you get desperate, you're searching for a job. you are not in a better position to negotiate. So a lot of these things happen when you are thinking of career change, when you're not doing well. So we actually advocate the contrary approach. We say, look, you should think about career changes when things are really going well for you, when you're at the top of your game. That's because that's a point when you are highly energetic, you're highly motivated, you're delivering stuff all around. People are feeling inspired by you. You have a lot of tailwinds behind you. You are in a position to actually choose between job offers. You can negotiate better. So that's what my stand would be, right? If you're thinking of career change, don't wait for your career to stagnate or go heading towards downhill. Make powerful career choices when you're doing really well. So that I hope that answers Sumit. So we are going to pick up some questions. So you keep on typing the question, but we'll do some of the questions which were pre-submitted to us when people registered. So the first question was, I'm working with international BPO frontline support, unable to grow, looking for ways, where can I go professionally? So that's a question. If somebody is working in a professional BPO, you want to change career lines. So here's a suggestion, right? What I would suggest is look at your skill sets, what you are really good at. Look at jobs or roles where those skill sets could be relevant. Because today you may only feel that I'm just in a BPO or I'm only a frontline support. I can only do that. But step up, take a step back and look at your skill sets, broad skill sets, and see where all these skills could be relevant. Look at those jobs and roles where these could be relevant and do some research in that area. That can give you some indication of where you can apply your current skill set. And I will strongly invite you to go and do the course which we have in partnership with Naukri Learning, because it can help you create some new options for you. So strongly advised from our side. The second question we have is making a career after retirement in intellectual property analytics, including freelancing. So look, this is a great area, intellectual property analytics. If you feel you're passionate about it, so I will strongly recommend that you do some research on what career options are currently existing today, which companies are hiring, which sort of clients are engaging consultants in that space, what sort of skills you need to build to become, an independent consultant. A lot of times there could be industry certifications required, certain training required. Look at that. What services you could offer, right? It could be a specific service you're offering, or you're offering a range of services. So I would say that start thinking on those lines to begin with, and which can pen down your thoughts, and that could lead you to taking some action. The third question which was submitted was, interested to know about ways to discover other career options that can be pursued after having worked in industry for 10 years. Again, I would say I strongly recommend, please go and do our conscious career choices workshop. It is in partnership with Naukri Learning. It's a free course. There are digital modules. So we'll share the link. Please go and do that course. You will discover new career options automatically. The next question is, I'm confused what career to choose and how to select. Again, I would strongly recommend do the course. That will help you to find new career options. I'm confused in choosing the right path, how to make career decisions correctly, and how to be more confident and determined. Look, we spoke about a few things about how to make career choices today. So that should help you. The next part of this webinar, which is the part 2 of the series, that will give you a structured framework to make career choices. So I will strongly recommend whosoever submitted this question, do not miss that next webinar, because that will give you a framework to operate. And then we have some feedback, right? Somebody has written that I'm very glad to experience here that you people have given a space to professionals like us to share issues. I appreciate the move. I hardly get this opportunity to mention like this in a webinar. Kindly continue in the upcoming webinar. So thank you so much, whoever has given this feedback. Thank you so much. And I appreciate that you appreciate the work we are doing. And I hope that it is helping in some form or shape. And one more question before we take on live question is, choosing a career path between technical expert and people manager, what should I do? Look, it all goes back to what do you want to do? Instead of we telling us, think about, are you really interested in people management responsibilities? Because a lot of people are not. They are just interested because they are seeing other people doing it, or other people are growing because they were in people management roles. So that's why they gravitate towards people management responsibilities. It is not necessary that you need to have. It all goes back to, are you really interested in managing people? And if you are really interested in managing people, think about what skills you need to develop to become a people manager, because you could be a technical expert and individual contributor for a long period of time. And there could be certain skills you need to learn, like how do you manage people? How do you motivate your teams? How do you delegate work? How do you give feedback? A lot of things you may need to learn before you actually start going and asking for a people management role. So starting point would be, do you really want this role, or you're simply driven by what others are doing? So those were some of the pre-submitted questions. We'll look at some live questions also. Let me quickly have a look. Sumit, we have already shared the link, so hopefully you should be able to join the course. Shini says, one needs to grow in corporate ladder within a certain age. Once you get stuck, you do not get enough opportunity outside because of age. I am into sales. Can I now start a career change? Now, I don't see a reason why not. In some industries, some companies, age could be a factor, but there are a lot of companies which are open to that. In fact, a lot of big companies are now having returnship programs for professionals beyond a certain age. So at least I personally don't see age as a factor. Of course, it could be company specific or industry specific challenge. But the question is, do you believe you can do it? I think that's a bigger thing, right? Before the world believes in you, you have to believe in yourself. That if I want to do, let's say you mentioned a career change, you've not mentioned where you want to go, but whatever career change you're looking for, do you truly believe that you have the capabilities, the talent, the confidence, the motivation to do that? Because if you believe that, then only others will believe in you. So that would be the first starting point. Don't worry about the age part. Age also shows a lot of experience. The key thing would be that how do you showcase your experience, right? Not from an age point of view, but from an experience point of view. What do you bring to the table? If you're able to showcase that, then I don't see a reason why people will not really offer roles to you. Then I have a question from Shubham, who says, what to do if I am still confused about what is the right career choice for me after a few years of experience, how to discover what I truly love to do. Shubham, again, go and do the course, which is on Knocklin Learning. It will help you to discover new career options, but you have to make a choice. Confusion does not help. Indecisiveness does not help. A lot of you are not willing to make choices. Sometimes you know what choices you have to make, but you're not willing. You're waiting for somebody to tell you. You should not wait for that. You should have the courage to make the career choice on your own. So I would strongly recommend that go do the course first. It will help you discover some new career options. Then take a powerful decision. Why are you not taking that decision, right? That's about why are you remaining confused? Think about what can help you to move away from this confusion. Vimla says, how to get opportunity when we want to resume after a career gap, because it is when we don't find any opportunities, hence no choices. Career gap is a concern, but in fact, we spoke it last time also. I'll strongly recommend Vimla watch our last webinar. But look, gap does not mean that you have stopped growing. Gap does not mean that you have stopped growing as a person. Even when you're taking gaps because of family reasons, health reasons, or trying something different in your life, you are developing as an individual, you are developing skills. So I would strongly recommend that don't look at the gap as a negative thing. Try to tell the story of your gap. What happened during the gap? How did you grow as a person? How did you develop as a leader during that time? Try to tell that story to the world. Of course, there will be some cases where people don't see it positively, but that's okay. But there are many people today who are open to people coming back after gap. As I said last time, we discussed, a lot of companies are offering returnship opportunities to integrate people who have had a break, not just women but men as well. So now industry is opening up. You can search for those companies which are offering today returnship or apprenticeship opportunities for professionals coming back from work. Shini says, if I have to go for a career change, do I need to start from zero again? It is possible depending on the type of role you're getting, because let's say you are in sales and you want to get into project management, but you've never done, then probably the opportunity could be an entry level, and that's something for you to decide. That am I willing to forego everything and go into a project management role, let's say, because I'm interested in that. That's a decision you have to take. But it could be possible that you don't, if you're changing career, you don't enter at the same level. You may have to enter at a certain lower level, sometimes even an entry level, and that's a choice you have to make. That is not because somebody is negating your experience. That's purely because you are new to that. So when somebody hires you from a different industry or different role, you have to believe that, you have to even think that they are also taking a huge risk. It is not just about you. The company or the hiring manager is also taking a huge risk when he or she is hiring somebody from a completely different background. Whether it will work or not work, they don't also know, right? So sometimes it could happen that you have to start from an entry level role, and sometimes it could be just a temporary period. So if you are being offered an entry level role, I will strongly recommend that check what is the time period. If it's a interim position, when will it get permanent, what is the time period, and then do your best to perform during that period. So that could happen. I'm not saying it will not happen, but you have to take that decision. But that does not happen all the time. For example, I'll give my personal example. So I was a captain in merchant navy, and I sailed for about 15 years in the shipping industry. And then when I took a break, I went for higher studies, and then I moved from shipping into finance. I got an offer with an investment bank, and I joined at a fairly senior level. I did not go down the level. So it all depends on what opportunities are available to you and how you can showcase what experience you bring to the table, right? Sanjay says that, Harsh, I'm thinking of starting an e-commerce with 30 printing products. I worked in various organizations for 9 years and feel like not working 9 to 5 anymore. Yeah, Sanjay, I mean, if you want to start something of your own, why not? So I would strongly recommend that do some research. See, starting something of your own becomes almost like a default option for everybody. Everybody wants to do their own work, but it is not something which everybody can do, or it's not something which everybody will like doing, right? So be aware of that first. So if you're thinking of starting something with certain products, do some research. Do some research that who are the current vendors who are having printing products in the market, what is their target segment, what sort of market shares they have, what products you will present to the market, what is the demand out there. If you know people in your network whom you can talk to how to start an e-commerce venture, talk to them. Today there are a lot of automated solutions available, like Shopify, where you can simply go and start the product. Do that, and do some financial planning also, because it could be a long way before you become profitable or before you start earning cash flow. So do that financial planning. How long can you sustain yourself when you're starting your own venture? Because that's important. Sometimes the setting up your own venture and becoming successful can take a lot of time, and sometimes we are not ready to give time. We get impatient, we want immediate success. That will not happen. Whatever you are doing today, it has taken years and years of hard work to build that reputation, and when you're starting something new, it will take a time. Going from 0 to 1 is the hardest journey, and you have to be prepared for that and plan for that. Cool. Srini says, thanks sir for your insight. It was good to have clarity. Thanks, Srini. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, all of you who have doubts and confusion about career choices, career mindset, I strongly recommend go and do the course. The course is free. It will just need your time and your involvement to do the course and do the activities. It will help you a lot. And if you want to connect with me on Insta, you can follow us on LinkedIn. You can drop us a mail, and we'll be happy to get on a quick call to see how we can help you advance your career or help you transition your careers. So that's all for now. I don't see any further questions. Thank you so much for all of you who have joined. I know it's a Saturday evening, time to spend with family and friends, but you are here for a reason. I hope you learned something valuable from today's webinar. Take what you feel is relevant. Go and see how you want to apply it to make powerful decisions, powerful career choices. And do make sure you attend our next webinar. I think it's next week also on Saturday. To make sure you watch the part 2, where we'll share a structured framework on how to make career choices. Till then, goodbye. Thank you so much for joining. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all the very best.